1-0 and welcome to the Sunshine Coast for Super Netball's first match of 2024 First Nations round. And for the Lightning, Courtney Bruce remains sidelined with a calf injury, while Ava Black's ankle injury also keeps her out. So Maddie Hinchliffe and Shannon Eaglin remain in the Lightning's 10 in an unchanged starting side from last week. For the Firebirds, there's a bit of a reshuffle. Halita Veve comes in at wing defence, pushing Revalian to centre, Gardner to wing attack, and Lara Dunkley to the bench. This is the 16th Queensland Derby. So First Nations round is underway. So too is Queensland Derby number 16. The Firebirds looking to end a 4-match losing run. The Lightning looking to go back-to-back for the first time in 2024. That's the Diamonds captain Watson finding Fretwell, looking for the first score of the day, and it's the Lightning who strike first. First Nations round.
Ben, Firebirds defenders just paying a lot of attention to Cara Conan just then, so keep an eye out on that contest in that circle.
A player they no doubt will want to shut down. She did have a little bit of the yips early on in that game last week against the Vixens, but they were fast out of the blocks. They're up 6 goals to nothing inside the opening 5 minutes or so. It's not going to be the story here today. That's a good start for Danelle Wallam, who had a little bit of a challenging one last week, was on the bench for part of that clash with the Mavericks.
Kira spoke about that, how important that first goal would be for Danelle to just lift the spirits of the team and just move forward from there.
Conan gets underway. Valiant finding Veve returning in wing defence. And he's looking at that change through a positive lens, because she, with her pressure in that wing defence role, has been superb this season. As Danelle Wallam just left the first one short. Beck Bully, great to see her back after the passing of her grandfather during the week. It was a really tough week for her.
Absolutely incredible. Oh, and a miss there from Conan again. Starting a little bit slow, same as last week, but just an incredible feed from Steph Fretwell just then.
Revalian popping it to Bakewell Doran. So the Firebirds with an opportunity here to get themselves in front for the first time today. There's a deflection from Watson.
Lightning
the Firebirds ball though.
Sorry Ben, I'm doing a good job at talking over you, aren't I? Sorry, Lightning setting up a really good little box zone there, forcing the Firebirds to go cross court and back and reset.
Gardner, and now Dwan. Wallam nicely nestled under the post. It's a combination that is going to take a little bit of time to develop, isn't it, Sharon? That Dwan-Wallam combo. First season playing together. Dwan, of course, was at the Firebirds previously, but Wallam wasn't at the club.
Absolutely, and hopefully, you know, that... Oh,
it's a good rebound.
Miss.
Well, that is a huge rebound for Hinchliffe. Birthday today. As we mentioned in the pre-game, it is birthdays galore for the Lightning in May, and this is going to be, it's going to be Lightning ball. It was a real scramble for possession. Revalian called for contact. Watson spotting Conan free. The Firebirds had that opportunity to go out by 2. Rebound for Hinchliffe, and now they're back at 3 apiece. Hinchliffe made that team of the week last week. That slipped through the hands, has it? It is going to be Lightning ball. Touch on the way from the Firebirds. Back to My. Conan. Watson take a touch off Carmo.
Well, there's no easy pathway, Ben, is there? It's just defensively. Absolutely. Firebirds really setting their intent from the start.
Rockwell can't get that to drop. Now Revalian getting involved. It was an area both sides were excellent in last week. The Firebirds defensively, but they just turned over way too much ball. Double play between Watson and Fretwell works nicely to get the Lightning back in front. Just saw Ava Black there, Courtney Bruce, the two injured members of the Lightning's 10. I should say contracted 11 now, Sharon, this season, but they're regular members of the 10 for the Lightning. Maddie Hinchliffe has their 11th play this season, slotting into the 10 now with those two out. This is her twin sister in Tara, Watson. And contact goes against Watson on Veve.
Yeah, whoever
Watson does that, doesn't she? Gets herself in good position.
Absolutely, she does. Just blocks that pathway at the top of the circle, making it very hard for that wing attack to get through.
So it's going to be a great tussle, that. The Diamonds captain up against the Tongan captain, Veve v. Watson. Keep an eye out for that this afternoon.
Interestingly, just watching Ash Irvin, no, she didn't get the rebound, it went through, but just watching her, she's sitting off Wallam. She's not actually on the body. I'm not sure it's working for her at this stage. I think she's going to have to come back onto the body. I think she's out hunting early, looking for some balls.
Well, she had a massive game last week against the Vixens. She's been huge in the absence of Courtney Bruce. And the Firebirds were keen on her in the off-season, but she decided to stay at the Lightning, wanted to learn from Courtney Bruce, and she's certainly bearing the fruits of that kind of mentorship. But right now it's the Firebirds. This is going to assist them even further. Veve finding Gardner. This is a really good start to the Firebirds in the Queensland Derby, remembering that they haven't won this in a couple of years.
Yeah, we see that feed that I was talking about earlier in commentary when Macy Gardner just lands and spots it and just releases.
Kira, what have you made of the opening part of this match?
The Firebirds bench down on the courtside, Ben, really up and about behind their Firebirds, up by now 4 goals. A fantastic start from the Firebirds to this first quarter.
What have you made, Kira? We just saw that stat come up, time per goal. Firebirds down around 26 seconds, Lightning a lot slower.
Firebirds doing a great job just slowing down the ball. We know how quickly the Lightning like to move the ball. They use that ball speed to beat the defenders, so a really consistent job on the outside of the circle to slow it down from Elida Veve and Kim Ravalian.
Ravalian, Dwan. Have been rapid, the Firebirds, in getting to goal, getting to Wallam. Really good start from the side based in Brisbane. The Queensland capital have travelled up the Bruce Highway to meet the Sunshine Coast Lightning. A scrap for the ball. Oh, Veve couldn't get it, and Maimai picks it up. Nicely done by Cara Conan. And they dodge a bullet there, the Lightning, because it could have extended further the deficit. Oh, look at that. Tuan and Wallam working.
Irvin's eyes just down, couldn't see that ball coming, and probably wasn't even expecting it to come in from that far off the circle either.
Contact, goal attack.
We'll get some contact from Tuan. I was asking the umpire the question, what for? It did look like there was a little in there. Watson and Conan.
That is her sweet spot, Conan. That is where she loves to shoot the ball from, and that is where she is most successful, that baseline left side of the post.
That's an area that Bakewell Doran's going to have to be wary of. That is a big win for the Lightning.
You know what happened there? I think Wallam might have thought that Ravilion was in the opposition team, but they were both fighting for the same ball.
Watson, Conan. Well, making a way towards the circle. And Conan, that's terrific strength against the baseline, but
Contact centre.
Now it's Liz Watson. And Conan pulling the Lightning back within 2 now.
Really physical contest down this end, Lightning end. Every ball is contested. The umpire is letting a lot of that physical contact go. So the Lightning are having to work extra hard on every pass.
Contact, wing defence.
Bretwell quickly to Conan because Bakewell Doran and Carmo were just on the edge of the circle. Allowed Conan just to glide in behind. There is a bib on the court. That's what Conan was just pointing out. Now she's picking the ball up. So the Firebirds got themselves into a 4-goal lead. It's just evaporated.
And that was down to that first ball contest from Mahalia Cassidy. She just went for it.
Retwell sided against going from range. Probably a good decision in the end because Conan in a better position. And it's back to 10 apiece. Remy Camo leading the Nissan net points from Liz Watson, who's always a regular contributor. Powered by E-Power, of course.
Contact on the arm. That's it. Obstruction, goal defense.
And the Lightning return to the lead. They're just seconds away from the power 5. That's a great take from Gardner. Slid herself in there, and Danelle Wallen on the eve of the power 5. And we have a HCF tactical timeout called by Belinda Reynolds right on the stroke of the final 5 in this first quarter. This will be interesting. Maybe something tactical to do here with super shot time.
So in attack, they're very good on the first ball if we run long lines. So we want to change our line. So hard first 3 steps, change your line, change your direction, get our ball around the hands. Remember what we said, we need to raise our intent, our focus, and our 1%ers right here, right now. Alrighty? But let's be disciplined in attack, win the angle, then win the contest. We have to be in a good angle, no stoppages, so they have stoppages around here. Stay clean, keep them off the edge of the circle as much as we can. Really good angle. Remember, we're aiming for 7.
Yeah.
And we can just tick away the score. All right, let's go. Lining on 2. 1, 2, lining.
So the first HCF tactical timeout of this match. Reynolds and Bully, they call the most. They've called the most so far this season. That was fascinating, Sharon. Really wanting the Lightning, and a big focus for her this season is staying in the moment. She's really trying to dial into that now in the final 5 of this first term.
Yeah, she absolutely is, and she really just wants her players to run the long lines and make sure they've got really good angles on their attacking, and just winning that contest when it's, you know, one-on-one.
Now, I think we're just going to have a pause here. Bit of sweat on the court. This is around where the Lightning had their huddle just a moment ago. It's warmish here in the Sunshine State. Kira, what did you hear from the Firebirds?
Really, it was all about the super shot, Ben. They want to be brave during this 5-minute power time, but it was assistant coach, so we see a bullet pass there from Liz Watson. It was assistant coach Lauren Brown who said 1 is better than none. So let's see how that plays out.
Well, that is a very intriguing philosophy, so that leads us to think that they're happy to go up in ones, a little bit more conservative. Rebellion. Wallen under pressure from Irvin. It was fumbled by Cassidy. It is.
And again, Ben, it was the, well, the
Hang on a
crowd are not
second.
liking that.
Decide the wing attack.
It is going to be the Lightning ball. But everyone thought, well, especially the Firebirds, thought it was going to be their ball. Here it is. Irvin gets the touch now. Cassidy. Fumble on the Harvey Norman replay.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Contact came, I believe it was against Gardner from what I heard.
Yeah, absolutely. But just, you know, that's Irvin's first intercept for the game, I believe. And it was because, you know, the release again came in a little bit too slow, and it allowed Irvin to set up in that front position.
Conan and Watson. So the Lightning behind by 4 in this quarter. Now out by 2. And soon to be 3 if Conan does the rest, and does. Really good start to this one for Cara Conan. 10 from 11, up above the 90% mark. No super shots attempted just yet. Maybe we're about to see our first. Tipper-Dwan with a chance to set herself under the pressure of Irvin. No problems for Tipper-Dwan, the first Suncorp super shot of the afternoon. Gets the Firebirds back to within 1. Watson.
Contact, goal attack, centre
Struggling
third.
for an option there to go back to Hinchliffe. Conan just narrowly got above Carmo.
Oh, well, I was just watching Carmo's footwork, and she was just riding Conan outside the circle, keeping her out. And the minute Conan gets in the circle, she's so hard to stop.
Wallam turned it to Revaliant. One trying to get herself into the super shot area. Gardner.
Yeah, beautiful roll from Nell there.
Just found herself under the post. Beck Bully appreciating the work here from the Firebirds, who themselves behind by 3. They've pulled it back now to 1 in the shadows of quarter time. Bretwell.
Contact centre.
Conan. Lucky Hinchliffe was there. Watson.
Contact goal defence in the 2.
Contact coming from Bakewell Doran on Conan in the circle. Bretwell for her first Suncorp super shot. Back out to a game-high lead for the Lightning. Wallen presenting under the post, and that's that philosophy we heard Kira touch on from Lauren Brown, the assistant for the Firebirds, saying 1 is better than nothing. They stick themselves close to the Lightning.
Advantage obstruction goalkeeper.
That was the 5th centre pass received from Mahalia Cassidy, the most for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. So bringing the ball through the back time and time again.
She's got defense obstruction.
Neve and Tuan. Well, I'm not quite in the arc for the super shot. Leaves it now for Tuan. Has already got 1. Bounces away. Wallen with the rebound, flings it back, but she was out of court. So, a chance for the Lightning to open this up now. 3 the lead. That's their biggest of the game. You can see that stat. So the Lightning taking a lot longer per goal than the Firebirds. But that doesn't matter when you're leading.
They want the 2.
Fretwell, it's out to 5. And they have the next centre pass, so this could get even worse for the visitors.
Ooh.
Conan,
Carmo.
she decides against the super shot. They're happy with just the 1 here. And they are giving the Firebirds no time here. And it's the Sunshine Coast Lightning with a 6-goal lead after the first quarter. They really extended that during the Power 5. And they'll be looking to do that even more here at the start of the second. They begin with the centre pass, Sharon Finn-White. It's going to be the task ahead of the Firebirds here. They're going to have to come from behind as they had to last week against the Mavericks.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben, and it's so hard to come from behind, but there is still a lot of time left in this game, so they're just going to have to win some ball and convert off every pass.
There's a neat touch from Bakewell Doran. It will be Lightning ball, though, from the baseline with Fretwell. And Conan gets the scoring started in the second. Kira Tromp, what did you hear from the quarter-time huddles?
Well, I had my head in both huddles, Ben, listening intently to Coach Rebecca Bully speak to her defensive unit about turning over more ball, as Sharon said, but she was really into them about their pickups. When there's a loose ball, they're finding themselves second to react. So she wants them to bounce back and be able to get that tip as quick as they can. Conversely, down the other end from Coach Belinda Reynolds, she was all about the hard work, the hard preparation, the chip and chase, the give and go. So when you get the ball, you pass it off and you run again and run hard. So she was really looking for that lifted intensity from the Lightning.
Thanks, Kira. We'll be really happy with this, a 7-goal margin.
Contact.
Jack Call goes against AC Gardner. I should say goes against Cassidy. And Gardner able to find Wallam.
Ash Irvin now on 3 deflections. No intercepts, interestingly enough.
Maimai, Fretwell. Linda Reynolds saying that Lisa Maimai had her best Suncorp Super Netball game of her career last last week against the Vixens. Absolutely outstanding. About 72.5 this in net points.
She has really grown into this Lightning team, and how excited she would be to be playing alongside the Diamonds captain and Liz Watson. I think they're really complementing each other very nicely.
And one of 8 of the 10 Lightning players in the 10 today that have either played for the Firebirds or been part of the squad. There's another one, Ash Irvin, winning it back for the Lightning. Watson, Conan getting herself in the circle, so too Fretwell now. Well, they just have to stem the flow of goals against here, the flow of turnovers. There's the intercept on the Harvey Norman replay from Ash Irvin. Watson. Fretwell just pops it over the top of Carmo. 9 goals. The biggest of the match for the Sunshine Coast Lightning. Gardner, that's very good vision.
Yeah, nice little fake there just to draw the defenders one way.
Well, they're now after a turnover, desperately. Cassidy. And Hinchliffe. Watson, Fretwell presenting, returning it to Watson. And just a little overcooked, but Conan was able to get it on the fingertips. That was just a little clunky there for a moment from the Lightning, but everything going their way today. They are on the song.
There's good patience from the Lightning. Firebirds defenders were taking up that space and making it hard for them, but they just had that patience to just calm down and get the ball where it needed to go. We'll see another goal from Wallam.
Well, that's the big test, isn't it, Sharon? When you are put under pressure, how you respond, how you get out of a tricky situation. And the Lightning have been able to do that today. Watson, as she regularly does, leading the circle feeds.
And it's all about just having multiple options to throw the ball to, making sure you're in the right position and you're backing up. There's the reset up there if they have to go backwards, to go forwards, and just taking that patience.
That's the real difference between the two teams at the moment, Sharon. The Firebirds seem to have only one option going down court, which is really isolating them with the ball, whereas the Lightning have 2-3 options on every single pass.
100%, Kira.
So, do they have to go to the bench? Do they have to go to Dunkley?
Potentially, Ben.
Well, this will assist the Firebirds. So, you just think about Dunkley. She was in career best form earlier in the season. Think of that performance against the Swifts where they probably should have won. She was playing in wing attack, had a fantastic game. They've decided for something different here today. Maybe that formula which worked so well for them earlier in the season is potentially an option for them. They've brought it back to 7 though.
Goal defense contact.
The call for contact. One was in space, able to find Wallam under the pressure of the sideline and the baseline. Dwan was just in space spotted, but Ash Irvin was just hanging off, trying to induce the pass, wasn't she?
Dwan did a great job to hold on to possession of that ball and get it safely to Wallam, even off balance.
Maybe a moment that could just spark the Firebirds. They've been able to pull this back. 7 the difference. Dwan, sending it up for Wallam. To have eyes in the back of her head to try and pull that one in. That is a very good rebound. No goal. Frustration you could see on the face of Wallam. There are the players on the bench of the Lightning in Hinchliffe and Batcheldor just keeping themselves warm. Watson, Conan, listening behind Carmo. Didn't like her position. She does this time though.
Cara Conan, that signature move of hers is just that lead and drop into that backspace.
She just wants to get into that position.
She loves that shooting from that baseline position. You notice a lot of her shots are from the baseline, either side of the post. They're never, very few from the middle of the post. Sorry.
So the Firebirds calling the HCF tactical timeout.
you know what timeouts mean, Lightning fans. We need you to make some noise. Next to HCF, we have got the decibel.
The holds are good, the tags are good, okay? Keep your head in it. Let's go in. Let's go, Gears.
Listen up for a second. Defensively, we are pulling out of the balls we're going to go for. We're half going for it, we're pulling out of it. Bloody back yourselves and go for it, okay? Put the pressure on them, okay? They are pulling balls in on extension because there is no pressure. Go for it. What have you got to lose, okay? All right, come on. Steady in attack. Steady in attack.
So, HCF tactical timeout from the Firebirds. That's as intense as you hear Beck Bully. She's usually quite calm, composed. I'm not saying she wasn't there, Sharon, but there was a level of urgency in her voice that you don't always hear.
Absolutely, and I think that's exactly what they need to hear, and I 100% agree with what she said, that they are not anywhere near their players. They need to back themselves and go for that first ball contest.
That's what they're playing for, the Queensland Cup. The Firebirds haven't won it since round 2, 2022, or the last time they beat the Firebirds, of course. That is given out over the season, over the 2 matches they play, and then based on aggregate if it's a game apiece. But the Lightning last season won both between these 2 sides. Fretwell can't get it to drop. It is Firebirds ball. That's a good win, Kira, for the Firebirds.
They'll be happy with that start out of the timeout there, Ben. The Lightning spent the entire break talking about their next play, and I find that really interesting from a coach. Really drilling down on the structure and what she expects from the very next play when the players step out on court. We can see sometimes there's a lull from a performance of a winning team coming out of a timeout they haven't called. She kept them on task, and she wanted to know what was next.
Thanks, Kira. Well, they're hoping there's no lull here. It's back to 6 now. So the Firebirds just clawing their way a little closer to the Lightning. Still a nice advantage. And Shannon Eaglin now onto the court for Hinchliffe.
We also see Emily Moore come onto the court for the Firebirds in that goal attack position. Maybe Beck Bully just wanting something a little bit different in that circle.
You wonder as well in the shadows of the Power 5, Emily Moore is hitting super shots at about 80% this season, 10 from 12. So keep an eye out for that. And Isabel Shearer coming on as well for Beck Bully's team.
And I think
Wallam nicely positioned.
And another miss from Wallam.
Going from more range, and she's unable to land it, Danelle Wallam. So that could prove costly.
I was just going to say, Ben, I think that's a really good call, bringing Isabel Shearer onto goalkeeper. I think Carmo was doing everything that she possibly could against Conan, but there was just no deflections, no intercepts coming. So let's see what the youngster can do.
21 years of age, 3rd match of the season. That call against the Firebirds.
It's really about that all-in unit defence from the Queensland Firebirds. We've seen Steph Fretwell have the run of the game at the moment. She hasn't been put under that much pressure throughout court, so a lot of confidence there. The Firebirds really need to get together in defence and start to work as a unit.
Yeah, 100% agree, Kira. We know Steph Fretwell is that playmaker out front, and that pressure needs to be applied on her before she gets to the circle.
Fretwell from mid-range, rocks back, nails it. The Lightning captain
Contact centre.
pushing this back out to a 9-goal margin.
That's it.
Danelle Wallam some issues last time around, not so this time.
I think Irvin just getting caught on the body there. Just probably needs to just move her feet around, repositioning, just to confuse that space a little bit.
So, Sunshine Coast Lightning again. Belinda Reynolds happy to call these right on the eve of the Power 5 once again.
Let's drive wide but come central if we can. From the court. Yeah? In this 2-point period again, just ticking along the scoreboard. tempo, our control, skill again for attack. Defense, just our discipline there. So we're changing our behaviours now to make sure that we're playing inside that arc, okay? Nice and disciplined. Yep, that's fine. Make sure very disciplined on the edge there. Be a nuisance around the edge so they can't feed out, okay? All right, let's go. Lightning on two. 1, 2, lightning.
So Belinda Reynolds keeping her side on task here at UniSC Arena. An 8-goal margin. This is where they really put their foot down in the first quarter in the Power 5. We're about 8 seconds away from that. Kira, what did you hear from the Firebirds?
A lot of talk around the Power 5 and getting themselves back into this game, but the way they want to do it is by earning the ball down in defence. So a lot of talk to Isabel Shearer about contesting that first ball when Cara Conan leaves the circle.
You can hear the home fans, they are up and about, they are loving what is happening in the opening match of First Nations round in 2024. Hinchcliffe and Fretwell, as you heard the hooter for the Power 5. And they need Suncorp super shots and quickly the Queensland Firebirds. But it's just one here, Wallam positioned under the post. Looking for a turnover. Just seem to be growing with more and more confidence, especially down the attack end, the Lightning. The ball movement is quicker. The route to goal is quicker than it was earlier in the game, and the Firebirds' intensity maybe just dropping.
The Firebirds not identifying, Ben, that the centre pass is going through the back line every single time, and they're over-committing on that first ball, and then it's opening up to the post. So they really need to close down that centre pass option and then have a crack.
Here it is again, Kira. Lightning going for a Suncorp super shot. Rebound falls the way of Bakewell Doran. So here we go. Is this a moment for the Queensland Firebirds just to turn some momentum? Because at the moment, it's all with the Lightning, and Danelle Wallam happy with the one.
A beautiful feed from Ravilion, just turned, sided, saw Danelle there all by herself.
Eagland off, Hinchcliffe back on the court. That goal defence role where she made the team of the week last week. Danelle Wallam back to more. 80% super shots this season, but she's overcooked the first one. Does she get the flick on? No, she doesn't.
Contact.
Contact call goes against Moore. They couldn't quite repeat on the first attempt the heroics from last week from Emily Moore. She looks quite frustrated with herself, but she's got to put that behind her. Fretwell, Conan, as you said, Sharon, keep an eye on her. She's just gliding into that backspace, and it gets there eventually.
Love to see Isabel Shearer just take another little step back before she goes up for that high ball, and I reckon she'll come close to getting a handball.
So a race between Watson, Conan, Fretwell. That Lightning route to goal. And on that occasion, it didn't quite work. So 52 apiece, and the Nissa net points powered by E-Power between Watson and Conan. Ravalion. And Moore puts that first one behind her, but again, she's unable to drain the super shot. That has got to hurt the Firebirds. And now Veve getting a touch in, flung back by Maimai. That is really important pressure from Halida Veve. They will get another bite at the cherry here if they're good enough, the Firebirds. Shearer was ticking down the clock for her. She got the pass away.
Good work to Emily Moore. She actually saw where the space was, which is down the sidelines when they're setting up that zone. You can't go through there unless you're actually coming up to body up and then coming off the ball.
Contact, wing defense, you're pausing.
Contact goes against Cassidy. Revaliant and Wallum. This would be quite significant for the Firebirds. Danelle Wallum, she's on song from the super shot range in this one. And it's back to 4 the difference as Watson hits the floor. So, what a period this power 5 for the Firebirds. The Lightning were out by 9 during this second quarter.
Okay, yeah, sure.
It's back to 5 now.
Just for a mop, just over
So
there.
time has been held for a mop here, and it just builds the suspense. 41 seconds on the clock. What are you thinking here, Sharon, for the Firebirds? They obviously want to take a little bit of time off the clock and maybe ideally look for a super shot.
Yeah,
Give the
that's
Lightning limited time.
exactly what they should be doing. But I'm just looking at the Firebirds' centre pass to goal rate is 69 to Lightning 79. So, you know, even the gain to goal rate is 67, you know, so it's fairly low. So that's one area where they need to work on.
At this stage of the game, 1 is the preference for the Firebirds. Lightning have still got time. My has to go back to Hinchliffe. Watson found the space. Goes to the opponent. So right before half-time. Much came from Isabel Shearer. Fretwell. Watson and Revaliant. Now Fretwell. It doesn't bounce in, and it's going to be a 4-goal lead. Oh, there's some friendly fire. Fretwell straight into the noggin of Conan. She's going to have to deal with that. The Lightning are going to have to deal with that change in momentum at the end of that second quarter. The Lightning lead it by 4 at half-time. And the future right now, it looks pretty good for the Firebirds after that finish to the second quarter as we get underway in the second half of the Queensland Derby. But the start is not a sign of what we saw at the back end of that first half. They've given away possession straight away to the Lightning. And let's hear from the Queensland coach. Sorry, Beck, to bring you in right on that moment, but you must have been happy with the finish to that first half.
Oh, absolutely. From that timeout in that second quarter, we really built some good defensive pressure and we're really brave in attack. We're letting the ball go. Nelly was a great target and we finished off with a couple of great super shots as well.
So, Beck, just your thoughts on Lara Dunkley not starting. Macy gets a start today. What are your thoughts on that one?
Yeah, look, we decided to mix it up a little bit. Lars has got a couple of little niggles that she's managing, so great opportunity to try something new, something that perhaps wasn't Lightning wouldn't have been expecting, and I think they're doing a really good job. They're earning their position at the moment.
Beck, with your penalties sitting up at 37 and only the Lightning on 18, as a defender yourself, how are you seeing that on-court play out?
Yeah, look, I think it's really important that we're actually contesting. That's what we wanted to do. We want to have a crack. So I'm not too concerned about our penalties. I'd rather see us going for the ball.
Beck, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
Great to have the time there of Beck Bully to start this second half. So it's out to 5 the lead for the Sunny Coast, and Fretwell pushing it out to a half dozen now. Bakewell Doran. Revaliant. And more. Look at this pressure from the Lightning. No way forward for the Firebirds. It is an intense start, but Wallum was spotted.
She had a cheeky little look on her face after she let that ball go.
Well, Ash Irvin was just standing a little off the body of Wallum, and that was enough.
It was the drive from Emily Moore, Ben, coming up the middle that really opened up Danelle Wallum under the post. As we see another outside arm, just not the strength in the take from the Firebirds. I think Beck Bully will be really looking for her players to lift their intensity on those ones.
They've been utterly dominant in the, as Steph Wood said, in one-point netball. She said this on the stroke of half-time. We've been terrific this season. It's been in the Power 5 where teams have been able to claw their way back. Well, they're certainly showing that once again here at the start of the third quarter.
Interesting, last week we heard Belinda Reynolds say that the Lightning have a target during the 1 point time that they're trying to hit. So I'm feeling from Steph Fretwell's body language. She wasn't happy with where they'd got to in that first part of the quarter in the second quarter. So they'll be looking for an improved one-game netball in this third quarter.
Great strength on the rebound there from Isabel Shearer. And it allows this opportunity. So the Firebirds get one there. They've got the centre pass. So a chance to claw this back to 5. If they can stick with the Lightning through this first 10, well, they've thrown it away again. The pass couldn't be reined in by Revalian. Feels like at the moment it's one step forward, a couple back for the Firebirds.
Exactly, Ben. There's just a lot of high ball going over. They're taking the ball from behind. Really need to see them actually, you know, coming forward and give and go. Just that consistent re-offering out front so they can work it to circle edge and get into a good position to feed. At the moment, I feel like it's just a lot of high ball going over the top.
HCF tactical timeout. By Belinda Reynolds. It's been called by Beck Bully, who will be most disappointed with the start to this third quarter. So what is the message?
All right. We're starting to have one option. We're not taking our cuts and drives, okay? Keep finding them high, do the work. We're not sitting in the pockets. We're taking them to cut back, okay? If we need to, we reset to the line, but you guys need to take your cuts and drives onto line. We're not going back, and back, okay? Long court, tucks and drives, but we look over the mess. Make sure we're an option non-ball side, okay? To change it up, let's look at Nelly coming out non-ball side, okay? So still doing the work. Nelly's going to come out non-ball side. We play it onto circle edge, then we go in, okay? Did you hear that? Yeah. Let's start non-ball side to Nelly, okay?
Do the work.
Great rebound. Well done. Good job.
Do not shy away from what we've been doing really well, okay? That drive is gone. We need a reset ball side. 2 options for every lead, okay? Let's go. Fire on 2, 1, 2, fire!
HCF tactical timeout. Following a trend, Sharon, that you would probably expect there, they want more options.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said before the break, Ben, as well. So, you know, they need the cuts and drives. You talked about don't sit in the pockets, do the work, reset if it's not on, reset back to the line and go again. So, you know, they're asking Nell to come out non-ball side for this next centre pass.
My straight to Watson.
Contact.
Tacked on Fretwell from Bay Caldor, and it'd be interesting to see how forceful that was.
Obstruction, wing defence, circle edge.
So Veve gets the obstruction call going against her. My. And Fretwell out to 8 here. So 9 goals was the game-high lead for the Lightning in the second quarter. We're getting close to that. And that ball looked to have almost been thrown away, but Wallen able to glide into space. And now Gardner struggling for options, and now just gifts an intercept to Irvin. So it's all just coming apart in the third quarter for the Queensland Firebirds.
Obstruction, goalkeeper.
You just wonder whether there's going to have to be a change. I'm a little perplexed, Sharon and Kira, why we haven't seen Dunkley.
Well,
especially considering their problems have been down the attack end.
Well, Ben, at the halftime break, as they came back for their warm-up, I saw Dunkley with some apparatus on her legs, unsure as to what that was about, but potentially she may, and I think Beck talked about her having a little niggly injury. Looking over at the bench now, it looks like a bib is about to go on Dunkley, so you're right, you've called it.
Well, I had a chat to Beck Bully pre-game. She said she just had a little bit of a niggle with the Achilles. Oh, how about that strength from Waller? Brings it in one-handed. Got to ride off the back of that kind of energy. So Dunkley is coming forward for a chat. Hipperdwan as well. You can see she's certainly got a niggle with that left knee. She's got that strapped, and I know from chatting to Beck Bully pre-game that there are a few Firebirds players. Every team has them. Players that are just carrying a little bit of a knock, and certainly see Dwan strapped up. Dunkley as well, as we mentioned, but
it's just about managing the workload, you know, rotating the players in and out where needed.
And Irvin's got another rebound. Watson.
The difficulty with those injuries in season, Ben, is that you know, are they getting the minutes on the training court with their players, you know, in connection and combination? And that's the struggle for the Firebirds at the moment when they do have players who aren't able to train. It shows on court.
Yeah, so Dunkley comes on just as you say that, Kira. So Macy Gardner to the bench. Just a comparison, so Gardner at wing attack, Watson at wing attack. Watson 71 Nissan net points. Gardner heads to the bench with 32. She has racked up the points at times this season, but usually in the centre role.
Obstruction, wing defend.
Just hasn't been her day so far. Conan. Look at this. This is quite ominous from the Sunshine Coast Lightning. It is getting away rapidly from the Firebirds. 12 goals now. Dunkley and Dwan just bring a little bit more composure that they're after. Fretwell, Watson was able to get on the bike and get across. Maimai. Another really solid performance from Lisa Maimai, leading in towards Conan. She's going to go again.
Maimai's having a great tussle on Rebellion. She's really strong out there today. Obviously really excited to be playing in First Nations round.
Oh, and again, it was Watson and Fretwell. You almost call it the pincer manoeuvre. They were both there, involved, gaining the ball back for the Lightning. The Firebirds are playing without confidence.
A 14-5 quarter to the Lightning at the moment, so the Firebirds really struggling to have any impact on the scoreboard in the third quarter.
Conan flings it back to Fretwell. Why is it unravelling, Kira? Look at that. Nissan net points powered by E-Power. Look, it's all Lightning.
I think, Ben, just the scoring off their own centre pass is where it started in this quarter. They're sitting on 63%, so netball's a pretty simple game. You get the ball every second centre pass, so you should have opportunity, and they're just not able to finish off and get it to Wallam or Dwan and sink those shots. So that's the first part of the puzzle for the Queensland Firebirds.
Remember, it was 37-33 at half-time, and look where we're at now. It has rapidly gone the way of the Sunshine Coast Lightning.
I think we have to give credit too to the Sunshine Coast Lightning. They have put the Firebirds under so much pressure all over the court.
Yeah, you're right, Kira. Just looking at goals from centre pass, Firebirds only on 28, Lightning at 35. So obviously capitalising off their opportunity, the Lightning far better than the Firebirds. There's
Valiant. Let it go early to Wallam.
Really strong come on from Kim Ravalian. She said during the week how they were craving a win, so she might be the catalyst to a turnaround for the Queensland Firebirds.
4 straight defeats coming into this one for the Firebirds. It all started with that extra time loss to the Swifts, a match that they will admit they probably should have won, and since then it has been really tough going for the Firebirds. It's almost like that match just knocked the stuffing out of them. They've still got time to claw this one back though. Tipper Dwan can't get it first time. Irvin was strong, but she's been called for contact.
It's a very attacking game, Ben. Just looking at the stats, both teams, like Firebirds still on no intercepts and Lightning only on 1 through, 4. 1 through Tara Hinchcliffe and 3 through Ash Irvin. So it's a very attacking game.
Goal attack, contact, to the third.
So we're inside the power 5. Watson. Fretwell had the hand up.
Advantage, contact, wing
Turns
defend.
it to Watson.
Obstruction, goal defence in the 2.
And they've got so much of a buffer. They really can chance their arm here with some more Suncorp super shots, but they're content with 1. 14 goals this lead now for the Lightning. Well and truly game high. April Doran, Veve and Dwan. And the touch from Irvin. Dunkley smartly letting it bounce over the sideline, so it is the Firebirds' ball. Valiant, Dunkley, they need super shots and they need a lot of them, and Tipper Dwan delivers one there. Her second of the match. Brought to you by Suncorp. And overcooked there by Fretwell. She's put Watson under pressure a couple of times in this quarter with that kind of pass. That time it just had too much for the Diamonds captain.
Well, the Lightning haven't made too many errors to date, so Firebirds are going to want to capitalise off that error.
If they can find another super shot here, they're just happy with one. Conservative knowing that they have the next centre pass, so it's back to 11. There is some momentum on offer here for the Firebirds if they can take it. Dunkley. And the touch again from Irvin. Isn't she having a game? She's almost up to 70 missing net points. So her career average, 32. Season average, 52. Remember the Firebirds, they wanted her back. But she opted to stay with the Lightning. And they just keep dominating this match.
Well, it's those long arms of Ash Irvin, isn't it? She stands at 192 centimetres, probably the tallest or one of the tallest on court right now.
Is Courtney Bruce getting nervous at all, Sharon, watching this?
Well, you never know. You know, your spot can be gone in an instant, can't it? So if you're sitting out on the bench. So, but anyway, she is a Diamonds player and she's a prolific defender. So no, I think her position's fairly safe.
Well, to be fair, she's been playing goal defence this season alongside Irvin. At that defence end, Wallam
Thread the needle.
squeezed herself, didn't she, in between?
Her ability to take a ball under pressure is outstanding.
Bretwell it off there to Watson. Conan. So Ash Irvin, just having a look, missing net points. Only Watson and Fretwell above her in this match so far. That shows you the kind of performance she's producing, the goalkeeper for the Lightning. Remember, she was a goal shooter till only a few years ago. She made the switch after a poor season. She went back into defence and, wow, what a turnaround. She won the Fast 5 World Cup last year at the back end of the season. And putting the pressure on Dwan. Wallam tries to fling it back. Irvin picks up another. Cassidy, fumble initially. Watson, Inchliff and Fretwell. So intercepts utterly dominated by the Sunshine Coast. Just gingerly getting up.
Obstruction goal defence.
I mean, Isabel Shearer got the penalty, but that is exactly what Beck Bully was talking about. Contest, if you get the penalty, at least you're in there.
Watson, Fretwell.
Advantage contact goal defence.
And my. Fretwell for a Suncorp super shot. Some drop for her. So the Firebirds. Big gap. And they can make some inroads before three-quarter time. They will have the next centre pass, so Wallam goes quickly. They've got about 20 seconds here from the centre pass. It's still a big margin, but they've got to start the fight back sometime. Blonde didn't like the position. She does now. And she finds a Suncorp super shot. Clap of the hands from Rebellion. And that is three-quarter time. The Sunshine Coast Lightning extending their advantage to 11 goals. The Lightning with an 11-goal lead. The Firebirds with a monumental task ahead of them. And Kira Tromp, what did you hear in the quarter-time breaks?
Ben, I got down to both benches during that break and it was quite a contrast. The Sunshine Coast Lightning very happy with their efforts in the third quarter to push the lead out, but a really stern reminder from Belinda Reynolds that she does not want any of her players to switch off for a single second in this fourth quarter. So really chasing that 60-minute consistent performance. Down the other end, Coach Beck Bully in the Queensland Firebirds camp asked her players to reset and not force the ball forward, so identifying their inefficiency in the forward line, so looking for more work to get the ball to post.
Thanks, Kira. Tackle against Baker Doran. Frustration clearly evident on her face. His lead goes out to 12.
Still see Remy Carmo sitting on the bench, wondering if she'll return to the court at any time soon.
Advantage contact centre.
She did start this game pretty well. Remy Carmo, 3 deflections. She's
Obstruction, goal defence.
been forced to the bench. Isabel Shearer's come on. She's had an impact at times, Shearer, but you'd think, based on the scoring flow against the Firebirds, they'd look for something different.
Yeah, absolutely, Ben, but I think it's also important to give the younger players some court time in matches like this that are, you know, quite tough, and she's up against an Australian diamond and, you know, obviously really needing to learn her craft, and the only way you can do that is by getting out on court.
You can see she's giving Conan no room here. She was really squeezed in there. Carmo across as well, but the Aussie Diamond was able to find the space where there looked like there wasn't.
Oh, we're in the
Now
game,
tip it
Ben.
Ron, we are in the game. Luckily, we don't have players taking out monitors this week, Sharon. We had that last week. My. Fretwell. And Conan. So game-high lead was 14 goals in the third term. We're getting close to that again here this afternoon. Well, Shearer coming across there, but giving away the contact penalty. Look at that, Sharon. Look at that statistic. Penalties, 51, more than double from the Firebirds.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess that just suggests the Firebirds are actually going for the ball, but they actually need to choose which ball they need to go for. I think it's going to help limit their penalties.
Well, we just saw Beck Bully. To be fair, she just looked a little glum on the bench. It has been that kind of afternoon for the Firebirds. They showed us some life back into the second quarter, but since then, the Lightning have just accelerated away. Continuing to be strong on the rebound. Ron and Dunkley. Well, Dunkley has done her job since she's come out onto the court. Hinchliffe and Conan. Fretwell. And this is a call which goes the way of the Firebirds. Contact call against Fretwell, I believe, was the call, the goal attack. And now the call goes back the Lightning's way. Well, they thought they had a win there, the Firebirds, and instead...
Cassidy just doing a great job to shut down Bakewell Doran's drive down court.
It's just been the continuing theme. We've touched on this already, Sharon. They do one thing right, the Firebirds, then they gift it back, and some. That is brilliant from Dunkley. Offside the call. Do you agree with that, Sharon?
To be honest, Ben, I'm not talking about umpire calls, but, you know, Dunkley did a great job to get her hand to ball there, and, you know, it could have been a different story if the umpire had allowed that to go forward.
I think Firebirds fans might be asking the question. It's a big moment. Just over 10 minutes remaining in this game. 13 goals, big margin, but the Firebirds can start clawing it back down. With the power five there is some time for them.
Lovely to see a bit of sportsmanship there between Mai and Revillion. Revillion obviously giving Mai a little bit of a knock and then a bit of a tap on the back to say sorry about that. They are former teammates.
Well, there's a lot of former teammates. 8 of these Lightning players having been a part of the Firebirds at some stage. 5 of them played for the Firebirds. 3 were training partners or replacement players at a time. Tipperdwan needed that for the Firebirds.
A chance here for Ruby Bakewell Doran to have an impact against Riley Bachador coming on the court at goal attack. She was just caught watching a little bit against Steph Fretwell, not really impacting that contest. And I think having a young player out in front, you get caught up trying to do a bit too much in defence. So Ruby Bakewell-Doran really needs to close down her own player.
Yeah, you're right, Kira. Oh, she's not having as much impact as we've seen in previous games, has she? She's only had 2 deflections with no intercepts to date. But she has been effective on the centre pass receives, and she's been there. She's taken 6, so she's having an impact in attack, that's for sure.
Janelle Wallam around the 90% mark shooting accuracy. Watson, Maimai, Conan, Batcheldor. Well, wasn't she excellent last week? Riley Batcheldor coming off the bench against the Vixens. So composed. Now she gets an opportunity late on here after the hard work of Watson, Fretwell, Conan down that end of the court. Dunkley to Dwan, Revaliant. Unselfish from Wallam, finding Dwan. Turnovers the order of the day now for the Firebirds. Watson, Batcheldor, and Maimai rockets that out to Watson. And then the double play with Batcheldor. Everything worked so well for the Lightning until the final shot, but, well, and again, this is a win for the Firebirds. That was so efficient from the Lightning until Batcheldor just couldn't finish it all off. Neve, Dunkley squeezed herself in between a couple of Lightning players. Wallam.
Oh, beautiful flick pass from Wallam.
Vision was superb. The rejection from Irvin.
The response from Irvin.
That's it, yes.
Look at that, Ash Irvin. Deflection queen today. 7. Here's the rejection on the Harvey Norman replay.
Every defender wants to be able to do that, Ben. I can't say I ever did in my career.
That's a collector's item, isn't it? Put that one on the show reel. Maimai. Watson. So still sitting at 12 the margin now. Here's Watson. Here's a Nissan net point queen as well. You look at her numbers this season, 93 average. She's up to 104, but that just tells the story of this match. It is all Lightning in the top 5 Nissan net points. Firebirds leader is Kim Revaliant. I should say Tipper Dwan with 62, Revaliant 54.5.
And for Lightning, Liz Watson leading at 103. The work rate of Watson and Maimai is just amazing. 25 goal assists, 16 centre pass receives for Watson, and Maimai 17 goal assists, 32 feeds. So work rate out front is...
Oh, that was close to a replay. And that was the look from Dwan towards the umpire saying, come on, umpire. So 5.5 minutes remaining in this final quarter. Dunkley up to Dwan under the pressure of a flying Irvin. I don't envy who's selecting player of the match in this one, Sharon and Kira, because Liz Watson leading the way, but she's in that wing attack position. You can gain a few more Nissan net points in that position more so than others. Irvin 94.5 in goalkeeper. That's a huge performance. Into the power 5. Can Riley Batcheldor start it with a Suncorp super shot? No, she can't. It's a rebound for the Firebirds and Bakewell-Doran. Well, if they're going to start the unlikely route back, it needs to start now, but it's Batcheldor with the deflection. And Conan with the finish. Batcheldor with the defensive work.
Hasn't she come and strong and made an impact in this game already?
How about this? Defensive work from the goal attack.
Centre contact.
They're the 1%ers that we talk about in sport, Ben.
Is that the equivalent of a rejection for a goal attack, Sharon?
Well, you could say
Getting
so.
a deflection. Well, she'll be pumped with that, Riley Batchard. Or Suncorp super shot for the Firebirds. Hinchliffe, what a birthday present it is for her today. And her twin sister, Tara and Maddie, will be celebrating in style, you would think. It's a 10-goal margin. Mai and Conan. Look at that spread for Cara Conan.
Running contact goal attack.
Valiant. One.
Circle A.
Attack called against Mai. Lisa Mai up to 74 as Tippetwan doesn't get the Suncorp super shot initially. Second attempt, give it plenty of height, but Mai picks it up and finding Irvin, who found Watson. Getting herself about again, couldn't win it back for the Firebirds. Well, they're almost there to back-to-back wins for the first time this season. The Sunshine Coast Lightning. Mai rockets it. Went through Conan.
Would look pretty if it came off. Great ball from Mai.
Mai getting up. It will be Lightning possession. So after a couple of heartbreakers at home for the Lightning, extra time against the Thunderbirds, that last 30 seconds when they lost that game against the Mavericks. They're just minutes away now from celebrating another win in this Queensland derby. It would be 4 straight for the Sunshine Coast against the Firebirds. So Batchard just given a warning for delaying. I'm not quite sure why she would be doing that in this particular moment because it's 13 goals.
Yes.
There wouldn't be any kind of real advantage gained as Janelle Wallam looking for the super shot. She's keen to get in position again here. And this time a Suncorp super shot cannot drop for Wallam. It has been a tough day for the Firebirds going for those super shots.
See Macy Gardner back in at wing attack. Lara Dunkley to the bench.
Batcheldor looking for a super shot. Her first. And it is a game-high 15-goal lead for the Sunny Coast. Things are looking up for them as they hit the halfway point of the season on the back of this match. A clash with the Fever next week. Right. That is a mouth-watering matchup as the Firebirds have it. Wallam looking for a super shot.
And she sings it. What a great transition from the Firebirds. That's exactly what they needed. Maybe a little bit too late now for them though.
Just a little too late. Gardner is there. Wallam, can she finish with back-to-back super shots? Not quite, bounces away. May get another bite here. The Firebirds through Tippetwan. It was flat.
It was very flat, that one.
And Hinchliffe wins it. So the Lightning, can they celebrate in style? No, they can't. Veve, Wallam doesn't get the super shot. Second attempt. Gets it away, Janelle Wallam.
What a way to finish.
But it is the Sunshine Coast Lightning who strike down the Firebirds for the 4th match in a row. They have some serious momentum.